If you're smart, capable, and still feel stuck, this video is for you. And I don't mean stuck in a dramatic, everything's falling apart kind of way. I mean stuck in a much quieter way, where life looks fine on paper, but something inside feels muted. Most people assume this means they need clarity, or confidence, or a better plan. But after years of working with thoughtful, talented people, artists, educators, creatives, professionals, I've noticed something surprising. What actually fixes this kind of stuckness has almost nothing to do with knowing the right answer. And once you see what's really going on, the stuckness suddenly makes a lot more sense. So today, I want to show you why smart, capable people feel stuck and how people actually find their way back to themselves. Here's the common belief. When you feel stuck, you assume you need clarity. So you start looking for the right decision, the right framework, the right next step. You ask questions like, what should I do? What's the smartest move? What am I missing? That instinct makes total sense. And to be clear, it's certainly not wrong. There's a place for mentorship, there's a place for guidance, but I have a feeling what you're looking for is likely different because the people I work with aren't confused in the way they think they are. What brings us to the part most people don't expect. Here's what I've seen again and again. Most capable people aren't stuck because they lack clarity. They're stuck because they've slowly stopped trusting themselves. Not all at once, not dramatically, but gradually, over time. They learned to edit themselves, to prioritize being responsible, impressive, agreeable, or prepared over being honest. So instead of asking what feels true, they started asking what makes the most sense, what will look good, what's the safest option. And that tiny shift repeated year after year after year creates a very specific kind of stuckness. It's not a paralysis, but a disconnection. And here's the important part. You can't intellectualize your way out of that. I've seen this pattern repeat across many different lives, different industries, different ages, different circumstances, but the same internal experience. People who are capable, thoughtful, kind, already doing a lot right, but quietly second-guessing themselves. They say things like, I should be more grateful. I don't know why this feels so hard. Other people would kill for this. And yet something feels off. What's powerful is what happens next. Because the moment someone hears themselves clearly again, without judging or rushing, something shifts. And it almost always shifts the same way. Here's the first thing most people miss. The real issue isn't indecision, it's self-hiding. People delay, they overthink, they wait until they feel more ready or confident or certain, but what they're often doing is postponing visibility. Once someone realizes, oh, I'm not afraid of failure, I'm afraid of being seen, everything changes. Because then the next step doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be honest. And that leads to the second and most important piece. Clarity doesn't come from fixing yourself, it comes from hearing yourself. This is something most people don't experience very often, a space where you're not being advised, you're not being judged, you're not being optimized, you're not being steered, just reflected. And it's not just another life hack or 90-day plan, it's just holding space for verbal processing and mirroring what's being said, what's being felt, reflecting back body language, vibes. And with that, what I see constantly is that people solve their own problems, sometimes mid-sentence, sometimes even in a single session. Not because someone gave them an answer, but because they stopped editing themselves, slowed down, and started dropping into themselves. And that's when clarity stops feeling frantic and starts feeling calm. And once that happens, action becomes surprisingly simple. This part matters. People expect transformation to look dramatic. In reality, it's usually very quiet. It's not something you gain, it's something you return to. One honest decision, one reclaimed behavior, one step that feels like, oh, this is me again. And for some people, that's enough. I've worked with clients who only needed one session, not because they were suddenly fixed, but because they remembered how to listen to themselves again. And once that channel is restored, momentum tends to take care of itself. If something about this is resonating and you'd like a place to actually sit with this, I hold a standing weekly conversation for people who need space to think things through. It's not a workshop or it's not really like a program. It's just time and attention held very carefully. Some people stop by once, some people come back. There's no right way to use it, just what feels useful. There's a quiet waitlist linked below. Joining doesn't obligate you to anything. It just lets me know you'd like to be looped in when a spot opens up. And if now isn't the moment, that is okay too. This work is most effective when it moves at the pace of honesty, not urgency. If you take nothing else from this video, let it be this. You're not broken, you're not behind, and you don't need to become someone new. You may just be out of practice listening to yourself. And that's not your fault. You were likely trying to take care of the world around you. But listening to yourself is a skill that you can reclaim. This is how smart, capable people stop feeling stuck. Not by finding the perfect answer, but by finding their way back to themselves. Thanks for being here.